What's going on, guys? So this video is probably to a lot of people who know that I'm a Spider-Man fan, or used to be, because again I'm still not 100% on board with what's because of Spider-Man and his new movie coming out, yada yada yada. You know the story about that if you watch the other videos about that. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm actually here to talk about comics. Which is something I don't do a lot on this channel. And the reason why I am talking about comics is because there's this character that a lot of you probably know, who you may hate or love, or actually, I think love is a strong word, maybe kind of like, which I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like that kind of like guy. Like, he's alright, but I also don't like him. And I'll explain why. If you don't know, Superior Spider-Man is Dr. Octopus, and he took over Peter Parker's mind. The details of how he did that I will not explain, but I will explain a little bit of some of the things that happened in the comics to explain a little bit why I didn't like him when I was younger. When I was younger, a few years ago, I didn't like Superior Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man was a problem for me because he stole the show. Because he just literally said, like, well, he just killed Spider-Man. He killed him is a strong word. But in my opinion, Spider-Man didn't die. Because we'll get to that. And I'll explain a little bit more why Spider-Man didn't die. They just wanted a reason to reboot, which is fine. I don't see a problem with that. Which actually, I'm glad they rebooted the Amazing Spider-Man comics, because things got complicated, stories got wacky, so a reboot was necessary. This is probably the new this is the second no, this is actually the very first time they rebooted him, which is not bad. I hope they don't reboot it again, like in the next 10 years. Wait like 20 or 30 years to reboot it again. But anyway, let's talk about the idea of Superior Spider-Man first, about how Dan Slott wrote him and the things that Dan Slott said. First of all, when he said that Peter Parker was dead and he wasn't coming back, I think that's one of the first things that made me sad and depressed for 3 months. I'm not kidding. 3 months I was depressed for 3 months when I was a sophomore, which is ironic because the Spider-Man Homecoming, he's sophomore. That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to tie in there, but maybe you guys, some of you will get it. So Dan Slott said that he was dead, right? So I was like, that sucks. I can't. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Like, I was so upset. I mean, I was mad at the guy, but I wasn't one of those people who was sending death threats. I was one of those people who's like, I was sitting there saying why the whole time. Like, I was like literally watching a fight between fanboys and Dan Slott about how like they're just sitting there and arguing. I'm like, I'm just the guy sitting there like, why? I just terrified and just depressed as hell. Like, just like, why did you do this? And then like later down the road, they brought him back, and I was super duper happy. I was like, Spider-Man's alive. I feel so alive. Like, it was one of those moments where I just like got that big oomph when he came back in the comics. So like, that really was a great day. It's a great day to know that he came back. But let's talk about, I don't really want to talk about, I mean, I guess I could. Superior Spider-Man, to me, he's kind of like Batman, okay? He's rich. He is a bit of a dick. Except Batman don't kill, which Superior Spider-Man does kill sometimes in this. He does do some good things, but in my opinion, they do not outweigh the bad things he did. Superior Spider-Man is, and when I say he's like Batman, he has all these gadgets. He has these cool robo arms. And one thing I always said about Superior Spider-Man's first two suits, I love the suits. Like, the costume design is probably the best thing about Superior Spider-Man. The costume design, the orange and black, the very first costume he had, and then the red and black with the spider arms. That was very cool, and I really liked that, and I thought that was a really cool design. And that's just talking about the design. The design looked great. I liked the design of his costume. The costume looked really, really good. And that's what I could give Dan Slott props for, was I liked the design of the costume he was going for. It was really, really good. And I liked the way he drew the arms sometimes when he would fight. It looked really good. He even had these like little spider bots that would patrol the city, and like they kind of be like his cameras that would look around for like crimes and stuff. That was kind of cool. Reminds me of Batman. You know, he's got these computer things that can watch for criminal activity and then spring in or whatever he wants. But sometimes Superior Spider-Man wasn't a good guy. Sometimes he was just flat out just a bad guy. Like, he would just act like a bad guy sometimes, or he would like not care. Like, so I think it was hard for me to like the character because it was Dr. Octopus, and knowing Doc Ock's character, he's a bad guy. So I look at him as a bad guy, not as a good guy. And I think another thing that why I hated him so much was he ruined Spider-Man's life. Mary Jane is not with him anymore in the comics because of what happened. And that's Ock's fault. It's Ock's fault, and I blame him for that. And, you know, when Ock Superior Spider-Man, he eventually like falls in love with this one woman, and like then you see them again in the Amazing Comics, and it's like that's a weird relationship, but you know, he likes her because she's very intelligent like him, which is okay. You know, match made, intelligence, love thing, whatever. Lovey-dovey. I love saying that word, lovey-dovey. It's great. I love saying that. Okay, so I talked about things I don't like about him. So let's talk about after. Let's talk about after Spider-Man got his suit back. He got his company back. He got his body back. He got everything back. Well, about 25 issues, 24, 25-ish issues, we got a hint that Superior Spider-Man could be back. And honestly, I have been sick and tired of hearing people say take things with a grain of salt, that I can proudly say you don't have to take this with a grain of salt if you're a Superior Spider-Man fan, or if you did not know this. So during the Clone Saga, there was this Clone Saga during the Amazing Spider-Man, and those two comic books were tying into each other, which it didn't really change much. I mean, there was no point to write 5 extra books, in my opinion, other than to give backstories of the clones. The clones thought that they were alive. You know, they're the real versions of, you know, that's how every clone feels. They feel like they're the real version. Which they all eventually figure out that they're not. But that's not the point. The point is, there was this clone of Spider-Man. This clone of Spider-Man was trying to bring back all the people in Spider-Man's life that have died. And that doesn't go so well. I mean, eventually Spider-Man and him fight. Doc Ock helps Spider-Man because of his love interest is there. I don't remember her name, so sorry. You can correct me in the comments. Just say who her name is. I forgot. If I don't get there first. So Doc Ock and Spider-Man are fighting this guy. Spider-Man has to go deal with something else. Doc Ock and that clone of Spider-Man's is fighting. And then, like, Doc Ock, during the fight, we find out there's a clone body. And this clone body basically is the clone of Peter Parker that is a perfect clone. So it's not going to deteriorate, it's not going to break down, it's not going to die. So that's why the clone of Spider-Man's wanted to get a new body. He wanted to put his brain in the body so that he could stay alive. But instead, we believe that Doc Ock put himself in that body, and that means is we are going to get Superior Spider-Man back. Now, this is a good thing, and this is why it's a good thing. A long time ago, after the dust settled, when Superior Spider-Man died and the real Spider-Man came back, which he didn't really die, because here's the thing. He was still alive in his brain. Like, Doc Ock thought he killed him, but he didn't die. He's still in there somewhere. So that's why I don't count it as a death of Spider-Man, so it doesn't count to me. I mean, maybe a defeat, but not a death. But anyway, Doc Ock's alive. He's got a new body of Spider-Man's, which is kind of cool because it's kind of like the thing with Batman and Hush, where it's like, Hush, wears like that face mask, looks exactly like Bruce Wayne. So, Doc Ock's the clone now. He's got a clone body, so it's like they look exactly the same and talk exactly the same. So it's like, that's going to be crazy because it's going to be one of those moments about which one's the real one. So that's exciting. I like that idea of the fact that they both are clone. Well, no, what am I talking about? You got a clone, and you got that's the clone body that's not going to die, and you got the real Spider-Man who they both look the same. So it's going to be and I made this theory a long time ago that Dan Slott loved the character of Doc Ock. You could tell that as you read the books, which I didn't read. I read little bits, but not the whole thing. But you could tell that Dan Slott cared about the character of Doc Ock, and he wanted to do this story of Superior Spider-Man about this character, which is not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, but I think the way he did it when he killed off Spider-Man was the bad idea. So he had a rough start, but I think as time progresses now, and that the fact that we know for sure, at least I believe we know for sure, because I full 100% believe that Superior Spider-Man is going to come back as a clone. I said this a long time ago. I'm like, the only way that they could bring back Superior Spider-Man is if they have a clone. And guess what? They did it. They had another clone. They brought some clones. They did the clone thing, and now he's back. We didn't see him yet, but he's back. So that's exciting to me. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to see the issue of where they show him put his suit back on, and he's got the robo arms again, which is going to be so cool. Again, I like the design of the suit. It's really cool. I like the idea of Spider-Man versus Superior Spider-Man, of Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man teaming up. I want to have those stories. I want to have stories of Spider-Man, the real Spider-Man, and Superior Spider-Man teaming up. I love team-ups. I love fights. Like, I want to see them fight. I want to see them team up. I want to see them do all that. It'd be really cool. plus it'd be kind of weird because it's like, you know, they keep throwing punches, but none of them keep, like, it'd be so cool. It'd be like, you know, they throw a punch, they keep missing each other because they keep dodging each other's attacks because they're spider sense. I don't know, that it would be kind of a standstill between those two, unless he gets one of his robots to grab him or something. But that would be a standstill fight between those two, almost. I'm sure the writer's gonna do something like, you know, when they win like each round, maybe they'll do that. Maybe they'll like make a game out of it or something. I don't know. But my thoughts on Superior Spider-Man are different now. I want to see him again. I want to see his character. I want to see Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man in the same room again. And the one time we did was in the Spider-Verse comics. But I think this is a much better in-depth look at these two characters now. So I'm very excited to see these two again. I hope that it's not a crummy story. I hope they do a really good job with this one. I'm excited about this one. I can't wait to read the next issues and maybe tell you guys about how I feel. If you want, maybe start doing comic book reviews. I've been thinking about doing those. I want to start with Spider-Man first, though. I don't want to start with Hulk and Avengers and Logan, because Logan had, like, oh my god, I think Logan had like 100 or no, not 90 or 100 issues. Yeah, I can't do that. But I would love to review very good comics, like recent ones. I don't want to go back and like review old ones, because I already review old games, for crying out loud. Well, not old games, but like remastered versions, or like, you know, stuff like that. I don't want to do that no more. I want to kind of stay in the present with some of the things I talk about or review. So yeah, guys, I'm excited to see Superior Spider-Man again. What do you guys think? Do you guys love him? Do you hate him? Are you like me, where you're in the middle? Do you care if he comes back? Do you want him to stay dead? Is it a good idea for them to bring him in? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a great idea. I think I talked about this. I talked about that. I think it's a great idea. I think that it's a good idea to have those two in the same room together. I think that's going to be a great. He could become his greatest villain or his greatest ally. So it's one of those things where he's going to be his greatest villain or he's going to be his greatest ally. So we don't know. We were probably greatest villain. But I like where it's going. I like the direction now of where Dan Slott's taking the characters now of Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man. So we now know they're gonna be alive. They're both gonna be in the same room in the same spot. And get out of here, airplane. Maybe I should go fly up there and just tell them to fly another direction. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go fly up there and do that. So I'm out of here. Up and away. See you guys.